What's up? Ready for a new video? Good. Here it goes. Alright, well, today I'm going to be working on some cool things for the 240. Right now, it's running. It's at operating temp. I'm waiting on my thermostat to kick in. So what it's doing is it's running around 190, 200 as operating temp. Right now it's at 180, 85. Just sitting here, just drove it a little bit. And so what I'm going to do today is I've got a new radiator. Well, new, used, pre-owned. I don't think it's ever really been used, but it was previously owned by somebody, and it's pretty clean looking. So I'm going to be putting it in, and that's really about it. I want to see what the operating temp is going to be with that new radiator. The operating temp should stay the same, but the cooling aspect of it should be a lot better. It should cool a lot quicker. It's slowly creeping up to 190 right now. My dash, let's see if you can see this. Oh, nope. Alright, my dash, that does not work anymore, even though I've changed out the sensor and everything else. So, since that does not work, I have this little gaugey right here, if you can see it. Little Bosch temperature gauge. And that Bosch temperature gauge is connected about, I'd say, almost 6 inches away from the block. So if it's at 190, it's even hotter than that. The water temp is not the same as what it is at the block, and I'll have to show you all that before I change everything out. But yeah, right now it's creeping up to about 190 on this gauge, and then once it hits about 200, the thermostat kicks in and it decides to cool itself down. Temperature outside right now is about 70 degrees, so we're gonna see how this goes once it kicks in and cools down a little bit, and then I'll replace the radiator with the other radiator, which is definitely not the stock radiator, so that's so much better. But it's still an eBay radiator. It's still a cheap radiator, but it's aluminum versus whatever the heck the one up front is. I think it's brass mostly. So we're gonna see how that goes. And it's still creeping up. So let's get to the next part. Alright, here we are. Here is the 240. So, let's pop this open. Use my wonderful noggin as a hood prop until I can get one-handed. Alright, here we are. Here's the old radiator. Let me go get my pan. Alright. My fluid pan. Always come useful for one of these. I'll have to get the jack too because it's too low. What we're going to do is we're going to pop the upper radiator hose off, the lower radiator hose, take these mounts off, disconnect the fan shroud, and then once the fan shroud is disconnected, everything should pull up. This should just pull up. There's no condenser in here and no AC stuff, so this should come out pretty simple. Pretty simple. The worst thing I'm going to have is this wiring in my way. So, I'll probably cut that and move that stuff out of the way. So, let's get to it. Can you see me? Yep, let's get to it. Alright, here's what I've got tool-wise. Got my clips, my crimp, cutters, whatever you want to call it. A 10mm, because that's all that I really need. A flat head and a Phillips head. Because whenever you're messing with clamps, sometimes you have flat, sometimes you have Phillips. But I've got my pan in place down there. So let's start draining. bottom hose is being a pain in the butt. So I am taking off all these zip ties now. I'm going to pop this shroud off the top. It's got one little 10mm right here, which is just hand tight, which is awesome. That's how things roll around here. Alright, top part's done. Now I just got to unconnect these with my clippers. Clip once. If I can get in here and see. Maybe. Alright, so I did it. Give me a second. Alright. Tools. Drop them. Removal of the top radiator shroud. Let me say that again. Removal of the top radiator shroud. There we go. Alright, that makes things easier. So, now the bottom radiator shroud, which is connected a little bit here and there too. But looks like, one zip tie right there, no other ones. So now it's not connected. Alright, so now I have room down there, right here, to get to there. And I guess this is 10mm. So, I'm gonna undo that real quick. Alright, so now I have the radiator unhooked and drained. Oh, let's see if I can get it out. There we go. What did I say? Simple and easy? Here, we'll do this comparison. Alright, I'm gonna go find my other fancy one. Back here in my corner, parts. Oh. So let's compare these. Oh. Here we go. Old stock style radiator with the fittings for an automatic transmission. And one that is an eBay knockoff of most more expensive aluminum ones. If you look up here, this is about 1/2 inch thicker at the top than this, and in the middle it's literally almost 1 inch wider. So it should give a lot better cooling aspect to this little stupid 4-cylinder. There's so many issues. So let's get to installing this thing and throw some water in it. Alright, it's all buckled back up, got all my bolts in, everything else. Probably switch these caps because my cap looks better. I can get this bastard off. There we go. Alright, well actually that looks pretty brand new. None of this has been used, so everything's back together. Gonna fill it up with some water, crack my little bleeder back here, which is a 10mm. And then I've got a better looking radiator. Look at that. It's all shiny compared to the last view. So, let me fill this thing up. Alright, I'm gonna use my little spill proof dealio, which we're gonna make this ultra high. There we go. Spill proof. Got my little rod right there. Oh. Gotta crack this bleeder open as much as I can. Ouch. Make sure I'm not getting anything leaking from the bottom. all the way out. Don't lose your washer. Nice distilled water. Whole system up. Let me go get some more water. Alright, just finished filling it up. Tightening that nut back down. Making sure all this water is in. Blow any bubbles out. Cap back on. Done. Alright, now we have a new radiator in here. It looks beautiful. Let's turn that light off. Look at that. All shiny and aluminum versus crummy and either copper or brass or whatever material that is. So, I'm driving the 240 today and testing out the new cooling of the radiator, and it's working wonderfully. We're sitting around 170. Temperature outside is about 70 degrees, but we're sitting here in traffic and driving pretty hard, and it's sitting at 170. That's almost 20 to 25 degrees cooler than it normally sat with the regular stock radiator. So it's really good. I'm amazed. So, well, join me for the next video. Thank you for watching this video and staying up with it. Let me know if there's any comments or questions you have down below. Check out some of our other projects, the Camaro, the STI. See how things are going in Colorado with Michael and painting. Waiting on that new grill to come in. If y'all want any merchandise, check out the Teesprings. It's up there. You can like us on Facebook and Instagram. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and until next time.